Hi, guys. What's going on, Aftermath? There's Kenton. Welcome, everybody. Share the space. We got a good one today. We got Vultisig, absolutely banger wallet, changing the game. You guys know how it is. All right, let's get this party on the road. For those who don't know who are listening to the recording of this space, what is THORChain? THORChain is the first DEX to swap real Bitcoin. You can use every Bitcoin wallet in the world and don't have to connect it to a website. Same with Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Tron, Doge, and many more. Eventually, you'll be able to swap from any token from any wallet. THORChain is basically turning into the full layer one where apps can build on top of it. And the new app layer unlocks lending, perps, Bitcoin backed stablecoins, token launchpad, NFTs, prediction markets, and much more. THORChain isn't just a DEX, it is becoming the protocol of pure, uncensorable liquidity. Banger, baby. That's why we do it here. Swapping on THORChain is permissionless. There is no KYC, and anyone in the world can use it. And it's also really easy. To swap on THORChain, go to thorchain.org, click on swap. New features and functionalities will be added to the site over the next few months. Very easy. And there is also an email on there. It is a beta site. So if you encounter any problems or you have any suggestions or friction points, please put in that email some suggestions. The devs would love to look at that. THORChain's token is called Rune. That is spelled RUNE. You don't need to buy or hold Rune to place a swap on THORChain, but those fees from your swap are deducted and are used to buy Rune, and this is the Rune that goes to liquidity pools and nodes. There are 0 block rewards on THORChain. 100% of the yield is real. THORChain is also deflationary with 5% of the revenue is burned. I think we're 1.2 million Rune burned. Actually, over that. It's awesome. If you hold Rune on a centralized exchange, you need to withdraw it into self-custody because those tokens can be used to short sell Rune and drive the price down, right? And once in self-custody, you should look into bonding your Rune to a node to earn some yield. A really good interface, guys, is runebond.com. Super easy. All you have to do is pick a node, request a whitelist, and then you can bond your Rune. There is on the X profile, there is a nice introduction video to do that. THORChain has another token called TCY. This token is like a preferred stock where 10% of the protocol's revenue goes to these token holders. If you deposited crypto into savers or took a loan out on THORChain, make sure to claim your TCY token so you can start collecting this yield. And anyone can buy this TCY token as well on the thorchain.org swap interface. There's a THORChain community Discord and Telegram. You can learn all about THORChain, make lots of friends. To go find these links, go to @Thor, THOR community, @Thor community account on X. This space is geared towards anyone in your THORChain journey. If you are a veteran or brand spanking new, there will be someone here. And speaking of which, we have got an awesome wallet we're going to be talking to today, Vultisig, absolutely legendary thing. But that being said, my name is Denny. My other account's Patriot Sounds. I've been a content creator and educator of THORChain going on 5 years now. I'm going to go ahead and kick it to Kenton. Good morning, Kenton. How you doing?
Morning, Patriot. I'm good. Thanks, man. How was your Thanksgiving?
Very, very good. Man, I was a complete degenerate. Actually, it wasn't my fault. I ate a lot of food and I was very full. And then a family member came out and they said, "You want some apple pie?" I said, "Yeah, okay. It's Thanksgiving. You got to power through." There's these big pies you can get at Sam's Club or Costco. I don't know if you've seen them. They're huge, right? This idiot cut it into sixths. 1/6 slabs, bro. He brought me out this fat, gargantuan slab of apple pie just smothered in whipped cream. And because I'm fat and pathetic, I ate the whole thing. Dude, I was like having like 3rd trimester labored breathing problems, man. It was bad. So I had a good Thanksgiving, but I did a lot of self-abuse and I'm ashamed of myself, to be honest with you.
Good.
But yeah.
Good. Nice. Good. Well, you gorged. Nice. I hope you're wearing your fat pants.
I am.
Yeah. So yeah, good. Yeah, I'm seeing all the drama on Twitter and replies and people freaking out about the Dex aggregator Unstoppable. So I have to apologize, guys. I'm getting some things mixed up myself. Um, so the plan was always for the swap interface and the aggregator to be open source. And the aggregator is not open source right now. It's sitting on the Unstoppable servers. And they told me it's because they're worried about maybe security risk or something. But if we want to push it to open source right now, we can. Or at least we're going to talk about it next week. And so it's just Yeah, sorry guys. I'll be honest with you. I'm not, I'm not a developer, right? So I don't know what, kind of like standard protocol, how this all goes. And um, what I'm being told is just we're just doing it piece by piece, moving things forward, like the front end, right? It's just not once we get something done, then we put it live and we just keep fixing and changing things as we go. Um, but I have somebody else, I don't know, someone's on my messaging me about maybe we should keep the aggregator closed source and just have the treasury own it. Um, might be more advantageous for THORChain. We'll see. I don't know. This is part of building in public and kind of doing things on the fly. So the initial plan was always to do this all open source. But it might be beneficial for THORChain to keep the aggregator closed source for the time being. If so, then I'm totally just thinking out loud, guys. If so, then it'd be owned by the treasury. So I don't know. We got to talk. We got to sort this out. But the original plan and the original intention was always to make it open source. Um, and the idea for anybody to copy it, fork it, go do what you want with it. Try and increase decentralization, right, and encourage others to use it, especially the front end. The swap interface. Like we want to make it so that somebody could like have a widget in their website and just like have the THORChain swap interface pop up. So for example, like CoinGecko, if they wanted to add a swap interface, they could just plug in some HTML code and boom, done. They got ours there, right? Um, or if somebody, an influencer, whatever, somebody, when you guys want to create your own URL, your own web address, you fork it, put on your own logo, and you add in your own affiliate fee on top of the THORChain fees. It just what exists already right now at the other front ends, but basically try to make it so that it's as easy as possible for new front ends to be created, right? So we can get max distribution. Um, that's always been the big plan, the big picture goal. So yeah, I apologize for creating confusion, you guys. Yeah, I made a mistake. I was wrong.
Yeah, and like you said, you're not a developer. So, and guys, here's the thing though, Kenton is totally open to talking to anybody. So, this is obviously in public, right? So everyone can contribute and ask questions and double check and verify all that good stuff. But so yeah, that's how we do it. We have spaces, multiple spaces a week. So hopefully, we keep talking and everyone understands and we get consensus because I'm like you, Kenton. I'm not a developer, so the security concerns, these are beyond our competence as individuals in our previous careers, right? And so you have to kind of lean on others. That's just the way it is. But with that being said, Kenton, should we move on to Vultisig, or do you have some more
No, to
things you want
just
to say
finish,
on it?
it's like it always, nobody likes criticism, but it honestly it is good. It's like you just put things out there, then the internet will definitely tell you when you're wrong. So you get that instant feedback, and so that's good. I think that's good.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it
Um,
is good. I mean,
yeah.
go ahead.
So no, it's good. But yeah, let's not. I don't want to talk about that or dwell on that. This time is for Baltisig, and we should focus on them, talk to them. So especially guys in the audience, if you could come up and have questions, you want to talk, let's keep the questions and topic around Baltisig. Um,
Yeah, and I do have a lot of questions from the community banked. So a lot of people have questions for Vultisig. It's a really awesome tech.
should put it off to Baltisig. I don't know
Let's do it.
who's speaking for them. If you want to say hi, introduce yourself, give a quick intro on Baltisig in case somebody's new to it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, Kenton and Patriot. Awesome to be here again. Yeah, I'm Pau. I'm the project manager, and maybe you guys can hear it. I was sick the last day, so my voice sucks a bit. So I excuse that one. But yeah, happy to be here. Happy to talk everything about Voltisig. And Kenton, honestly, I really feel you when it comes to like, building in public and getting direct feedback, because I mean that's like the main ethos of us at Voltisig, right? Everything we do is open source. Everything we do you can directly see in our Discord and our GitHub and whatever. And if I fuck up, if a dev fucks up or whatever, right? It's directly always coming back to me with like a yeah destruction or like destruction bell, or how you call it in English. But So it's definitely something to learn, but I think that's like the good or the best approach, right? That's how we as a pro or as projects can grow the best, the most efficient way, and I think most aligned with the community, right? Because we're open to feedback always, like, and yeah, I think that's really a good way to go. But as a on the receiving end, I would say sometimes it's also quite a learning curve. But yeah, happy to talk everything about Vultisig today. I don't know if you guys had a like exact structure, how we wanted to do it. If, yeah, I'm more than happy to get more questions today, but I'm also happy to give like a quick yeah overview where we're at, and then go from there. But happy to get more input from you guys.
I think it's good. Just give us a a quick 5 minutes summary on Vultisig, like what it is, why people should care, just in case somebody is listening who's never heard of Vultisig before or isn't familiar with it. I know most people here probably are, but just a quick 5 minutes, bring us up to speed, what Vultisig is, why it matters, why people should use it, and then we can get into what you're working on.
Yeah, for sure. So essentially, what we're doing at Vultisig is, I would say, reimagine self-custodial security and yeah, how you store your digital assets, right? Because the one thing which is really, I would say, unique about Vultisig is that we abstracted seed phrases and built in a like a native multi-factor authentication, what we all know from our bank accounts, from Google accounts, from whatever, right? But for some kind of reason, the general wallets these days are still relying on like a single point of failure, like seed phrases, like passkeys, or like these kind of things, right? And it's kind of weird to think that we manage like thousands or millions of dollars of digital assets, and like with one bad click, with one bad file download, or like anything like that, you directly get like hacked, right? And lose access to your assets essentially. So we like at Vultisig, we're leveraging MPC technology. We're actually using one of the fastest and most state-of-the-art MPC protocols called DKLS 23. We have like a partner we're working closely with, and they are like creating the protocol itself because it's quite a yeah extensive, I would say, cryptographic task to build these protocols, especially to be sound. So we are leveraging their implementation of the DKLS 23. And the protocol itself is also used by bigger banks, like for example, Visa is using it in some kind of way, and other banks in general, but they don't use it as on like a, let's say, cryptocurrency level, but more on like a general cryptographic level, right, for security. But what essentially is MPC is doing is removing the single point of failure where you get like multiple devices to sign a transaction, right? So like it's this multi-factor authentication where you now can create a wallet with multiple devices. Let's say like one of your iPhones, one of your Android, one like maybe let it be your iPad, or maybe it can even be another person, right? So Vultisig is the multi-sig of the future, I would say, because it's super dynamic, super fast, and very secure because you don't need to manage multiple seed phrases for multiple chains, right? So essentially, you just have one backup share for one device for all the different chains what we are supporting. And currently, we're up over 33 chains now. The latest one was Hyper EVM, what we added on all the different platforms. So I think that's also quite interesting, especially with the hype around hype, I would say, or especially this cycle around perps and all of that. So yeah, we're getting like bigger and more chain supports and also deeper chain support, right? So that's why we also recently added our DeFi tab, which finally, like I'm also a big THORChain, right? Like I'm in the THORChain community since 2021, right before mainnet launched. And finally, with the DeFi tab, we can easily bond our rune. You can see like the position. You can stake TCY directly from the app. You can stake your RUGI. You can get your auto-compounded THORChain assets, I would say. So we're really like coming from THORChain, ecosystem, right? So we have THORChain by heart, and that's why we also, for example, just as a side note, we always are a bit biased on our swap routes. So we always prefer THORChain and Maya protocol, of course, because both of them are, I think, in my point of view, crucial for our future of like digital finance, because I think they're probably the only two protocols which are really censorship resistant when it comes to swapping. And I think that's really what we should strive on, right? To be as most decentralized and as censorship resistant in as possible, right? And yeah, that's essentially what we're currently doing, trying to not be the everyone app, I would say, but the most secure and most versatile wallet app there is. And of course, with the MPC technology, we have the possibility to support essentially all different chains, because we can support all the different signing algorithms of all chains, so that it gives you the one-stop shop for your multisig for all different chains. But yeah, we're step by step adding more and more chains, more and more functionality, and especially the last few months, we really were focusing on stability and improvement of signing, of fetching of rates, fetching of dates, and like all different inputs. So yeah, that's I would say is a quick overview of what Vultisig is, but happy to get questions and anything I missed. And then of course, one big factor before I hand it back, or one big feature which is rolling out pretty soon, is our app store, which essentially utilize or gives the option for everyone to finally enable self-custodial automation, which was not possible so far, right? Because with seed phrases and the unilateral access to those, you as a user needed to push a transaction right before something can happen, and therefore automation was always quite difficult to achieve. And with our approach with the MPC technology, we finally can have a secure self-custodial automation without handing over the complete access to all of your funds, and you can always, just grant partial access to different assets, I would say, in your vault. But I can iterate about that or that a little bit later. Back to you guys.
That was great. Thank you. I maybe want to add something. You said, I think you said the wallet of the future. I maybe kind of want to just kind of add that or help people understand like that your technology is already in the now. Like it's this all institutional custodians are using, right? Like Fireblocks, Copper, and Bitco, I assume Coinbase. They're all using some form of MPC, right? So you guys are bringing it. You're bringing it to everybody, the whole world. You're making it accessible for anybody in the world, not just the big guys to use.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I mean the MPC technology, I would say, is now THORChain was one of the first projects, I think, who really utilized it in the wild, I would say. But specifically on self custody, there are other MPC solutions currently, but they are mainly reserved to institutional players, because the MPC technology itself is not that easy to maintain and to give access to. And that's why normally it's hidden behind let's say a paywall, right? Like you need to have at least X amount of funds under management, or you need X amount of monthly fees, or it's a subscription. So essentially MPC technology and like the real security, what it gives, is sealed off to most of the users at the moment. I mean, there are more and more integrations happening with, wallet solutions, where it's then web, or let's say, put into place with passkeys and all of that. But essentially, a full self-custodial, let's say, flexible solution is not available on the market, or at least apart from Vultisig, right? So that's what we really wanted to achieve, is make Web3 accessible and safe for everyone, and give it for to everyone for free, right? The only thing, like the app and our apps are for free. The only thing which where we are charging fees on is on the cross chain swaps, where of course THORChain is our main provider, and of course with our token and all of that. So if you hold our token, you can then also get fee reduction, and then I would say we're quite really competitive with these different discount tiers. But yeah, essentially that's really what we are building, right? MPC wallet accessible for everyone.
Amazing. That's great. So can and forgive me, forgive me if you already said this. Am I able, if I've got a seed phrase, existing seed phrase, 12 or 24 words, can I import that into a Vultisig wallet? And if not,
Yeah,
when would I be able to do that?
yeah, so at the moment it's not yet possible, but it's actually something we're actively currently implementing. So I hope we getting it into the apps in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I would say, like as a rough ballpark. But yeah, it was a little bit tricky because we first needed to develop the technical implementation with our partners, and now as they're finished, we can finally put it into our app and make it yeah, possible that everyone can put in their 12 24 words and migrate, let's say, from a seed phrase, yeah, seed phrase time to a seedless time in the future. But of course, you always need to mention that the seed phrase will always exist, right? So cryptographically, it's impossible to delete a seed phrase. So we're just giving the option to increase the general security on the daily usage, on you know, the possibility to managing multiple chains with one vault without many different seed phrases in a multi-sig setup. But essentially, the imported seed phrase can't be deleted. So that's always like as a side note there. But essentially, yeah, the next 2 to 3 weeks, we will have the possibility to import seed phrases into Vultisig.
So is it fair to say that if you want to get the best out of Multisig to really take advantage of the security of Multisig, you shouldn't import your old seed phrase. You should start a new Multisig wallet and like new addresses and transfer everything over from your old seed phrase. Because as long as that old seed phrase exists and is sitting around, that there's a potential that somebody, it can get compromised. So you're better off starting with a
Yeah.
clean new wallet in Multisig. Is that right or wrong?
Yeah, that's correct. Essentially, what we want to achieve with the seed phrase import is, first making it easy for the users to migrate over, because then you can import a multi chain seed phrase, and have, because we are supporting all the different chains already, you can just then do cross transfers in Vultisig itself and don't need to use multiple apps. And secondly, with the App Store coming, right, you may be having like, a seed phrase wallet where there are either, have assets staked, bonded, rune, or like in any kind of way, utilized on a DeFi network or DeFi protocol, and you can't, move it currently. So then you have the possibility to import it and access it from your Vultisig vault. And with the App Store coming, right, there will be quite some nice and interesting apps in the future, where maybe we're already had some third-party developers mentioning that they maybe will develop an airdrop hunting plugin, for example. And then of course it doesn't make sense to have a new Vultisig vault and expect any kind of airdrop or go airdrop hunting for any forgotten airdrops. So that's where then the seed phrase import comes handy, right? Where you can import your, I don't know, wallet you're using since 5 or 10 years, import in Vultisig, install the airdrop hunting plugin, and then off it goes, and checking all the different chains on where you maybe have forgotten some kind of airdrop or something.
Nice. What about a plugin to kind of remove, when you get all those scam tokens, you get all that spam, than to an address. Is there a way to remove those um, from your? Would there be a way to remove those somehow? An app for that? Um,
Well, like we currently have the approach of, I think it's always best to not interact with scam tokens at all, and like the apps you will be installing always still will interact on a smart contract level with those tokens, right? So the best is always to just ignore these tokens and never use them and never see them. So that's why we, as like in Vultisig, have a, let's say, a little more conservative approach with auto discovering and listing tokens itself. So what we are doing normally is, just taking the official lists from, let's say, CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, and all of those, and use those lists and compare it to what the users are holding in the wallets, and then display the different, or auto discover the different tokens, right? And if a user wants to add another token, or some token is not auto discovered, they can add it manually, right? So we rather are going down the route to list only the secure tokens where we are sure that there are no scams, and then the users can add the rest manually. Then with that, you never get like any weird tokens directly auto discovered in your Vultisig vault.
nice. Maybe Patriot, I'll let you jump in because I know you've only got half an hour, so I know you have a bunch of questions.
Yeah, yeah, and thank you, man, for saying what you did at the very beginning about the problems of building in public, right? And that was well said. And it's all about how you handle criticism, how you respond to information, because that's all criticism is. It's how you respond and how you handle it. And I think you're doing a great job, Kenton. Hard to find someone more fair, honest, and open and transparent as yourself. But on to the questions here. I do have a few. Um, and I don't know if this person's a native English speaker, so apologize if the question may be a little cookie cutter. That makes sense. Okay, my first question for you is: since the marketplace will be out soon, how many developers or teams are you actively working with or seeing build plugins right now? Any standout ones in the pipeline beyond the DCA example, which is built by the team?
Yeah, great question. So essentially, we currently have a few, let's say, apps in house, but of course, like the main goal is from, like, for us as Multisig, not building the plugins, but just providing the infrastructure, and then we have, a thriving ecosystem of a lot of third-party devs. And currently, we have around, I would say, yeah, 5 to 7 developers we're more in contact with to building different apps and plugins. I don't want to like spoil too much for the moment, but they will come step by step, because of course the App Store and our infrastructure and how the App Store works is quite unique. So we are, working with all of them like closely, and just onboarding them step by step. So it will be a progressive increase in apps, I would say, in the App Store. So we will first start with our core apps, which are like the DCA plugin, or we're calling it recurring swaps, and also recurring sends, which both of those are essentially a DCA plugin and a scheduling app, let's say, where you can schedule a transaction, which are super handy for payrolls or for teams paying different members. But yeah, apart from that, I would say one like integration I'm personally super hyped about, and is the guys from CFGI. Probably some of the people here know them. They have a really nice fear and greed indicator and an agent that's trading upon these indications. And we're working with them to be one of the first apps, third-party apps, to be in the App Store. And then apart from that, we have a few more in the pipeline. But yeah, that's, I would say, one of the outside apps I'm very stoked about.
Very, very cool. And because we talked about the DCA part of my question, I've got another question here. They want to know, when are Voltisig, when are they doing the Volt buybacks, and when is the DCA plugin going live?
Yeah, cool. Good question. Yeah, I mean, the buybacks generally, we released, I think, around about like 1 week now, our complete updated tokenomics, and we decided that it's best, with all the fees Multisig is generating. That's also something, right? we as Multisig team, we don't get any fees or anything. Everything goes back to the Volt token itself, and these fees over the last year, I think we now accumulated around $420,000 dollars in fees, and with those we will now always scheduled start buybacks, and these buybacks will be starting quite soon. I don't want to like spoil it now, but essentially what the timeline on it is, we are polishing out the app store itself, and the DCA app, which should be finished over the next 3 to 5 days, and then afterwards we will soon afterwards start the buybacks, and of course with these buybacks we will be demonstrating the DCA app, and with that also more or less soft launch the app store, and everyone can have access to the app store, install the DCA app, the let's say payroll or the recurring send app, and that's essentially the timeline on it. But direct or exact dates I still don't wanna give here, because we want to make sure that the experience of the app store is super nice, super intuitive. So because we, as we know, is like the app store, and it's more or less like a contained environment. We want to have it really web 2, where it's just one click install, easy to set rules, and easy to understand. So we're really polishing out that one currently, but the functionality is there, and maybe some of like the, let's say, I see a few Vulti squads here in the space, so maybe some of those were looking at the Vult chart and already saw a few DCA tests going through, in small amounts, of course. But so technically we're there already, but we just want to polish out the app store and the app experience.
Perfect, man. Thank you. I have 3 more questions here. So, and again, I don't think this person's a native English speaker, so I'll try and make it make sense. I saw a suggestion floating around Discord for he says snipping bot, but I wonder if he means sniping bot plugin. Something for quick transaction snips or monitoring in the vaults. Are devs / non-team devs already tinkering with it?
I mean, so we're at Vultisig. I assume he's talking about like sniping bots.
Yeah, that's what I think so too. Sniping, not snipping.
Yeah, but we're at Vultisig. We're currently not considering building a sniping bot, but it's technically definitely possible. So I would invite everyone here, because the Vultisig App Store will be open source and will be open for everyone to come on and build its own app, and of course also monetize it, because 70% of all the fees of an app will go to the app developer, and 30% of the rest will go to the Volt token itself. But essentially, it's possible. So, and I already heard a few rumors that a few people are considering building it. So definitely, it's possible. And then essentially, it will be just like who will be the fastest, who will be create the best one, and the app or the sniping bot which the people then like, right? But essentially it's technically possible, but we are at Vultisig, we won't build one ourselves. What we're building, or also will have, is let's say a copy trading app, where you can just put in what kind of address you want to track, and it automatically mirrors those trades or those swaps.
Perfect. Perfect. And if you guys ever want your question asked to a specific team, you can always DM me the question, or try your best. My DMs are a little crazy, but do your best to get my attention. And I promise I'll do my absolute best to have everyone's questions answered. But anyway, on to the next question. What is the roadmap on the Volti signer with transaction policies that will have proper whitelists and limits, in quotation marks, addresses, tokens, contracts, max amounts to be implemented?
Great question. Yeah, that's something we, I think, have on our roadmap quite a while since we introduced the fast walls. Because essentially fast walls, maybe quick side note, as maybe some of the listeners here don't know it. Fast walls are the option for everyone to use multi-sig with just one device. So essentially, multi-sig is always multi-device usage, but with those fast walls, you can just use one device from your end, and the second device is our server, which co-signs automatically any transactions you want to do. But that also has the side note, or the side effect, right? That the security is a bit reduced, I would say, for yeah, the performance and the speed you get with it. So I personally I'm always using like a fast vault on for my day by day, like, you know, kind of trading what I'm doing, or when I'm out and paying for some stuff with crypto. And I have my secure vaults with like multi-device approval for, let's say, my cold wallet replacement. But those to increase those the security of those fast vaults, we thought about the Vulti servers having policies where you then can whitelist specific address, specific thresholds, and all of that. And those are still a bit far out, I would say, on the roadmap, just because we're currently mainly focusing on our core app stability and feature improvements, and the rest of the team is really busy down building the app store itself, because we're seeing much more potential currently in the app store. So I would say we probably will get it sometime in 2026, but I don't want to give like any exact dates for the moment.
Totally makes sense. Thank you. And I have one last question here, and I'm going to do my best to say this correctly. It's a slightly verbose, okay? So apologies if I'm a little off on this one. But okay, the next question is: once transaction policies are live in Vultisigner with a 2 of 3 vault support for this exact setup, the trader and the firm both have access to share 1. Vultisigner holds share 2 and only cosigns whitelisted and limited actions. The firm alone holds share 3 as emergency override. So, normal trading requires share 1 plus Vultisigner, strictly rule bound, of course, while share 1 plus share 3 can fully bypass all rules and modify the Vultisigner policy itself. Is that right?
um, well, essentially, that was something, a feature, I would say, what we had back in the days, which was called active vaults, which is essentially two of the user devices, and one would be the device, the server from our side. But we currently removed that feature because we had a lot of, yeah, inbounds of confusion when it comes to vault creation, the different vault options, and all of that. So for simplicity, we currently removed the option. And technically, those are possible, but Vultisig is not like a normal, let's say, MPC, yeah, wallet where, like, on an institutional based, you know, where you have different policies, where you have an admin and all of that, where you can override with the admin key or something. So in Vultisig, like, all the different devices are at the same hierarchy level, I would say. So, you know, it doesn't matter if like device one is admin or device two, like, it doesn't exist in Vultisig, right? So you only need the threshold of devices to sign a transaction, and it doesn't matter in terms of, yeah, if a device has less access or more. So all of the devices have the same level of, yeah, access, I would say, in the apps. So it's not really possible, and it probably won't be possible with like overrides and all of that in the future.
Okay, perfect. And I wanted to just say something real quick. You know, I really appreciate Vultisig selectively preferring swaps with THORChain in my protocol. Because one thing I think, I say this a lot, but it makes, you know, I say it a lot and I don't hear other people say it often, but it makes me so happy for you to say it, is that, you know, THORChain and my protocol are so essential for freedom. And I truly believe this is existential. So I just want to throw you guys some kudos for building it out, that my protocol and THORChain get dibs first, because I just think the first principles are on our side. And that's even more evident by the fact that you're up here talking about this technology, Vultisig, right? I mean, I think it's pretty fair to say that if THORChain did not exist, Vultisig wouldn't exist. And it shows you, like, when you know you're on the first principles, is when you develop something like THORChain or my protocol, and then you get all these concurrent additional benefits and technologies that are spun out of that, where you have this wallet, right, that is so secure, that doesn't require a seed phrase. You actually revolutionize and change the game. So just want to give you a shout out, man. And I've talked to you before on live stream. You're a solid individual, and I love Vultisig. I love what you guys are doing. So well done. But with that said, Kenton, did you have anything you wanted to ask or anything like that? Kenton might be away from the mic. No big deal. But yeah, like I was saying, man, doing great.
No, yeah, like I really, really appreciate these words, but yeah, like I'm, like the whole team is really, I would say, try hard, the on the side of censorship resistance, of like building open source, and I think that's the only way where we can really, yeah, I would say proceed and just progress as an industry as a whole, because in general, there's so many grifters, so many different projects who are doing shady stuff in the background, and that's why we really try to, build in public, especially, and build it open source that everyone can see what we're doing, even though maybe we're also humans, we're not perfect, so we also do mistakes, and maybe sometimes there are a few things which are still not perfect, but that's why we're here, right? We want to build with everyone. We want to build a secure product. We want to build something censorship resistant. So that's why, even though if Vultisig would go offline, or we as a team would vanish, the product would be still there. Somebody else could pick it up, keep on developing it, or we, like, honestly, I personally, since our inception of like 1.5 years ago, which is still very early as a wallet, I would say, I thought about that up until now, probably somebody else would have forked us and spin up a competitor wallet with the same technology. But I don't know, maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but so far I didn't see any competitors in that kind of way, when it really comes to open source MPC wallets with these kind of different, or with these principles, right? So yeah, I'm super happy to, especially, come from the THORChain ecosystem with our founder and the whole community, and build something, important for the future, because I think with Vultisig and the technology, there's still so much more to do, and so much more to be able to build with. For example, right, we're currently also on our last stretches of the Vultisig SDK, and that essentially will make it super easy for websites, for other wallets, and all of that, just to utilize our technology and create a safer space and a safer industry as a whole. And that's our main goal, right? To give access to our technology, and if you can create a better product with our technology, that's great, right?
Yeah. The only other wallet that I sort of know, and I'm not an expert, but I know Thor wallet, you can make vaults. But it's not, I think that, I don't know if it's rudimentary but I believe you can make separate vault shares like Vultisig. But I mean, they're developing mostly their hot wallet side. As far as I know, I might be wrong about that, but that's the only other one. Maybe you have context there.
Yeah, no, yeah, Thor Wallet essentially integrated our technology, because yeah, like we were in close contact some time of last year, and they of course also saw the benefits, right, of the Vultisig technology, and therefore they really integrated like our MPC approach. So that's why we are also compatible in theory. Where you can just take your Vultisig vaults or your Vultisig shares and import them into Thor wallet, or create a multisig vault in Thor wallet and import it in Vultisig. And that's essentially the synergy we want to create over the whole different wallet ecosystem, right? That same as with seed phrases currently, that with the vault shares going forward, different wallets are able to integrate the technology, and then we're interoperable, and are not depending on one wallet itself, but of course can just utilize and import it where you ever wanted to, essentially.
I think you said something very important there, because this is literally the new standard, right? And the market hasn't woken up at all really to it, because they just don't know. It's not because they don't want it; they just simply don't know. But it's really interesting when I think about a lot of the biggest hacks, a lot of the most terrible things that have happened would not have happened if they had used the security posture that is given to them by Vultisig, right? Bybit and so many other ones. So you guys are really on to there, and I really think you guys are absolutely the pioneers for doing this. Is really really good, and it's hard, right? Because as a creator like yourself making this wallet, the hard thing about making something that protects people is that you cannot experience or appreciate when people are saved because you don't know the bad things that don't happen, right? No one can really go on Voltisig. Well, maybe they could, but not many people I think are say Voltisig saved me unless one of their seed, one of their vault shares got, taken or something like that. It's hard to prevent, it's hard to appreciate the bad things that you prevent, right? But I think, I haven't seen one person, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen one person say anything about, getting rugged on Voltisig. So I think the I think it's proven, right? Like proof is in the pudding, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, one good example I would say is myself and JP. The recent months, both of us actually got hacked recently, and you know, luckily both of us we're completely working of like Voltisig, of course, because we love our wallet, we love the tech, we love using the product. So with that the yeah attackers could got access to our devices and all of that, but essentially they couldn't steal anything because with Voltisig there's nothing to steal because one even if they get one share, right, they can look at the balances, but not move them without any other vault shares. So that essentially really makes it crucial in two ways. Like the one thing where users really can or need to have the learning curve with Multisig is that each device really has its own backup and each device needs the backup stored in a different location, right? So essentially, don't store multiple vault shares in one place of the same vault. Of course, if you have multiple vaults, then you can just store them together in one location. That's why we also have like a batch export function. So if you have multiple vaults in Voltisig, you can just like batch export all of them from one from one device. But that's really the really important thing about Voltisig, right? That you learn that you have these vault shares which are unique to each device and you store on in different locations and never together. But then you're really safe. For example, that's why JP also has his honeypot up somewhere on
Right.
GitHub, where he has, I think, currently it should be like around 100K or something like that on the vault, where you could go now and download the one share, but you're still missing the second share. And up until I think he now has it up online over a year now, a year and 2 or 3 months, and it's still laying there without ever being moved or touched. So yeah.
I was just going to say that, man. I was just going to talk about that's the ultimate case of comfort in your technology where you put publicly out there six figures of money and say, "Hey, if you can take it, it's yours." That is the ultimate sign. So that was pretty baller of him. I love that. I'm going to go ahead and kick it to Kenton. Go ahead, Kenton.
Yeah, I'm curious, pal, if you can give us some ideas, tips on ways to back up our vault shares. So, how do we keep them separate? Especially for someone
Yeah.
who's, used to using seed phrases right on a piece of paper, hiding them, whatever. We're so conditioned to like, don't put anything online, don't take a picture of it, don't copy and paste it, just nothing digital, keep it all analog. And now we've got Multisig where it's like, okay, it's all digital, back it up online. You gotta help us, help me, walk through that. How do we do that properly?
Yeah, I mean that's really one thing what like a lot of people say, yeah, no, I don't trust it because you can store it online, right? That's actually one thing where we lose a few users already from the get-go because they say, no, I can't be secure, and then of course, they don't investigate further in the technology itself. And but yeah, I think it's probably a bit similar to Bitcoin, what one like one day down the road you will understand it and then you see the benefit of it, right? But apart from that, you know essentially it's only very crucial that you store it in a place where you know you can access the vault shares if you need them to, and they are not connected, right? So, for example, I personally store, like, I have a 2 of 3 vault, for example, where I have 3 different unique backups. I store one in my Google Drive, I store one in my iCloud, and I store another one with my wife, right? And she stores it in her iCloud, for example. And with that, all different clouds have different passwords. That's of course, the main point. You can't store them in locations where the access code is the same. But essentially, you don't have any limitations to storing the backups in a specific way or a specific location. So you also can, for example, for my another vault, I store one share on a USB, for example, right? Or because I also have like a family vault with my wife, and so therefore we have, she has one device, I have one device, and we store, like, for example, one of those shares I send to my family, to my mother, right? So it's essentially just sitting on a WhatsApp server, but I know, the chat highly likely won't get deleted because it's a big entity, and I can recover it from there. And even though if somebody would get access to my mother's WhatsApp or to my WhatsApp, it wouldn't really matter because the other vultures are in different locations. The one, like, really crucial thing is what I think a lot of people are doing is you having, for example, one device like an iPhone or a MacBook or your Android or whatever, which is connected to different clouds, right? Let's say you connected your G Drive there, you connected maybe, yeah, your OneDrive, or I don't know, your Proton Drive, or you name it, right? The different clouds there, or password managers or whatever. And essentially, when somebody would get access to that one device where all the different yeah locations are connected, then of course you could be at risk of losing the your funds if the attacker then gets access to the one device. But that's, I think, quite easy to achieve, where you can just separate them, and maybe you can create a free, like, account for iCloud, for example, a new one, and just store your vault shares there, or separate them in a password manager. So essentially, the possibilities are endless here. It's just depending on each unique users where they are comfortable storing the assets or the vault backups, because sometimes it's also, some people don't trust big entities, like Apple, Google, or whatever, and they prefer to store it on their own infrastructure, on their, yeah, USBs, or just share it with some kind of family office, or in the family or whatever, right? So that's the good thing in comparison to seed phrases, right? Vault shares are super versatile and can be stored everywhere essentially. I mean, you could also technically print it out. I wouldn't really really recommend that, just because it's like a lot of gibberish, encrypted characters. But technically, you could also really, punch it again on a metal plate if you really like it. But then, of course, it would be counterproductive, I would say. But yeah, getting back to the point, I would say it's really up to the user itself, and the most only important thing is that the different locations are not, like, interconnected with the same password or with the same device.
So maybe instead of printing on paper, you could actually download it to a USB stick and then save a USB stick somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's like how I do it with one of my shares. I have it on a USB stick, and or maybe, yeah, I mean, I actually have multiple USB sticks. But that's just like another, let's say, backup layer, because you can essentially also duplicate the vault shares and store them in multiple different locations, even though maybe when your USB stick would fail, you still would have it in another, maybe more secure location or whatever, right?
So I'm curious. So if I've got Vultisig, I have it on. Say I have a two of two. Got on my phone and my computer. The Vault share on my phone, I would have to upload right from my phone to iCloud or the Google Cloud, right? Like I can't. if I email it to myself on my computer, as soon as it touches my computer and then it kind of mingles with my other share on my computer, then it's bad, right? Or would that be okay? Like
I mean,
how
th-
yeah,
yeah. I mean, technically, as long as you're sure that after moving it or whatever, it's deleted on the device where it has access to multiple, locations, so to say, then you're fine, right? That's also, for example, where how our App Store works, right? Essentially, how our App Store and the apps installation, maybe to give it or do a quick detour on that, works is we're like the user has a two of two. And essentially, what they're doing is inviting two more servers to the same vault and sharing those two entities, access to the vault, and afterwards it gets deleted. When you delete it on your the app on sorry the app on the App Store, then also these shares permanently get deleted, and then it doesn't matter if the share existed in a place before, or you moved it over first to your laptop and had it in your email, and then moved it to a location where it doesn't have interconnection again. Just you as a entity need to make sure that it's really deleted and not existing or keep existing anywhere, and then you're fine with moving it or whatever. Of course, if in the moment you have it on your laptop where you have two devices, and in that exact moment you get hacked, of course you could run the risk of losing funds, but the possibilities of that happening while you do it is quite low, I would say. And you can make sure that, for example, you're not connected to the internet while after you receive the email and move the things where you need it and all of that. But yeah, like you can make it sure that everything is secure and you can move it in different location, I would say. I'm not sure if that really answered your question, but yeah.
no, it's good. It's just something we all just have to get used to, right? It's like seed phrases in the beginning. We all have to kind of get comfortable, used to using them, and it's gonna be the same with the vault shares. We just gonna have to just get comfortable, used to using them. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, to be honest, what like really helped me getting comfortable with Vultisig at the start, when I joined the project and we started really developing everything, is importing and exporting the shares and deleting the shares, especially with just test vaults, because then you really see how the technology works, how easy it is to, let's say, quote unquote, lose a device, get a new device, import it there, and just like respawn. And that really improves the confidence in the technology itself when you try to uninstall and import different shares again, and instead of just keeping it and using it. So I would really suggest for everyone using Multisig, just create a test vault and try the import and export a few times, to just get really comfortable with how it works.
Nice for sure. Patriot, did you want to keep going?
Yeah, I do have a question from someone who asked in the audience. I think it's Sonia. They're wondering, and I don't know the answer to this. And since JP and you are closely aligned with THORChain, is there any possibility of a Volt rune pool going on THORChain?
Good question. I like personally, like we thought about it, initially before we launched the token, if we launched directly on Rojira. But yeah, because of the whole structure we had in mind before and all of that, we didn't do it. And I think it's probably I would say it's a possibility definitely in the future, but so far we're not really moving in that direction, just because we are focused mainly on App Store currently and just improving the products as a whole. But yeah, definitely. And also, speaking of THORChain, one thing I also really wanted to get in the app very soon is limit swaps. I know, since you guys probably know it better. I think a few weeks now it's available, and something I really really like about THORChain now with the limit swaps. So I really want to get that in the apps itself. But it's probably still out a few months, but definitely will come as soon as possible.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I love it. I mean, you guys are staying ahead of it, and that's what I love. A lot of the interfaces, a lot of amazing developer teams. Whenever something new happens on THORChain, you guys are on it and you push it, and I think that's fantastic. Um, yeah, my hour did come up and did go. I do have to get going. And sorry guys, this will be temporary. It's just holiday season. I got a lot of things going on. So thank you, Kenton, for staying longer, and thank you guys in Vultisig and Pal. You're a wonderful man. I love your team over there. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job, and I hope you have a good holiday season. If I don't talk to you again, a good Christmas or whatever you celebrate. Always a pleasure interacting with you guys.
Yeah, appreciate it a lot, especially with you being more up on Thorchain spaces since a few months. I really appreciate and really enjoy interacting and listening more about Thorchain.
I appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure. Kenton, you have a great rest of your day, and everyone else, take care. Bye, TC intern. I appreciate it, guys. Everyone have a good one. Bye now.
Thanks, Patriot. Guys, anyone listening, you want to come up and ask questions, please request. I feel naked here without Patriot by my side. I need some help. Um, Pal, I got another question for you. So I use, let's say I use MetaMask, right? I'm used to using it. I can go connect MetaMask to Uniswap and all these different um, DeFi platforms. Um, I'm worried about switching over to Vultisig. Will I be able to connect Vultisig to all those same websites that I like to use?
Yeah, I would say we're now with the extension in a real good spot where we support most like EVM based. I would say we support probably 90%. Of course, sometimes there are a few integrations or a few dApps who do things a bit uniquely. So that's where we then need to help a bit and support these methods or these functions. But I would say the main, the vast majority of dApps we're now supporting on EVM, and we're step by step rolling out support of multi-chain dApp support, like recently, with Solana, Tron, and Ton, and all of those will be coming. And of course, like then also Cosmos and all of that. So yeah, we're like pushing constantly on that end to essentially, be have an extension which works in DeFi and all the different dApps on all the chains we're supporting.
Nice. So how does it work? Do you have to reach out to those dApps and say, hey, we want to be able to connect your wallet, or can you do it permissionlessly? Like just
Yeah, we can do it permissionlessly just because the issue is, right, there's such a vast amount of dApps out there, and we're just such a small team, so we don't really know which dApps are used by by the Vulti squad, by our users, and which ones are working and which are not, because we just can't cover all of them. So that's why normally the route is, if we have a Vultisig user, or if anyone listening is having like their favorite dApp is not working with Vultisig, then please just reach out in the Discord, and then we can check ourselves. And we're quite close with everyone in the community, right? If something like for our users not working, then we try to, even if it's just one person, we try to accommodate it and just improve it, right? So for example, recently we also added say EVM chain, because not really because there's a lot of, I don't know, like personally I don't use it, but maybe there are a lot of users on it. But we had one member of the Vulti squad by mistake sending assets to that chain, and yeah, we made sure to add this chain to have him unlocked and get access to his funds again. But that's also the same with the extension, right? If something is not working, or your favorite dApp is not possible to interact with the extension, then just reach out, and we will make it possible.
cool. I brought up a couple of people. Interchain. You want to check your mic? You got a question?
Hello?
Yep, can hear you.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to give Pau a big shout out because I've been using the wallet now for quite some time, and like the the support and in the Discord and everything is always extremely good. Really, like Paul. Sometimes he helped me in the support ticket himself personally and stuff. Because they develop fast, like, and then the app is changing, and you do an update, and then maybe something doesn't quite work like it used.
You cut out for me. Did he cut out for anyone else? Can you hear Pau?
I think he cut out for me too. But yeah, like I really, really appreciate it, Interchain, and that's something because Vultisig is. I love the community. I love building the product, so that's why I'm trying to be everywhere and accommodate everyone. And that's also something I think what he just mentioned on like the last seconds because before he cut out, we're trying to move as fast as possible, and sometimes some things maybe will not work not perfectly, but we're a small and agile dev team, right? So we will shift and fix everything like ASAP and quickly, so that we can improve as quickly as possible, and just proceed as quickly as possible. Because essentially, what we're trying or doing currently, we're sprinting to catch up with all the different wallets because the wallet space is so big and has so many features now, and there are so many established players. And when you're a wallet with, let's say, just mediocre feature support or mediocre chain support, then you're not really a consideration for many users to gain more users, a bigger user base. So that's where like we really try to sprint currently to get all the different features in what are needed, what users want to, and support all the different chains that we're a good cross-chain wallet which everyone likes to use.
Nice, right on. Interchain. It looks like he dropped. If he comes back, I'll request to speak. I'll let you back up. Aftermath. Brought you up to speak.
Hey, GM guys, good to hear your voice, pal. I believe that this Vultisig that's going to abstract all the needless seed phrase bullshit, like you were saying, Kenton, with the papers and the cameras and all that. I think that's the secret sauce. I've been agnostic. I've been trying to learn everything and see where I could provide value. And I think a perspective-based marketing attack is my interest. And I'm just going to try to figure out how best I could serve the THORChain ecosystem. But it seems to me, from a layman's point of view, from their perspective, having the Volt shares and not having to dick with all these other fears, and I'm going to blow this or I'm going to lose that, or all the other factors to people having fear for losing their seed phrases can be abstracted with Vultisig. And yeah, thank you for your efforts and thanks for having me up. I'm going to continue to guess where I could provide value, and welcome to take suggestions as to that as well. Thanks for having me up, Kenton.
Awesome. Really, really appreciate the input, and yeah, feel free to always shoot me a DM if you have like any ideas or wanna just start something in terms of whatever. I'm always happy for input, for collaborations and everything. But yeah, I think in terms of the seed phrases and all of that, I think we still have a way to go to abstract it more and make it easier for storage and just understanding, I would say. So we're still on the back ends, iterating, especially on the onboarding in terms of displaying how to store Vault shares best, how to abstract the Vault share and the security aspect and just the general interaction with the backups. So yeah, we're not done on that end. So we will be keeping like the iteration and all of that going until we're super happy and everyone in the community is happy with it. But I see Interchain is also back up.
Oh, is he? I keep approving him, but I don't. Oh, there he is. Go ahead, Interchain.
But I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you now. Yep.
Yep, we can
I
hear
don't
you.
know. My Wi-Fi always disconnected as soon as you accepted me as a speaker. Now I'm just on the regular phone. Uh, I don't know what you heard when I cut out, but I just wanted to add quickly a thank you because I joined the airdrop in season 0, and then for the whole season 1 I didn't check it once, nothing, and now I think now it's season 2, right? But everything is registered and nothing, like I didn't have to do nothing. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for this.
No worries. Always like that's one thing we try, right, to be close with our community and just make it as easy as possible. And of course, sometimes some things have rough edges or not perfect, but that's why we build in public, right? Everyone can just raise their voice and we can improve it all together.
Right on. Pal, I got, Patriot texted me another question from someone in the audience. When will Vultisig add in Maya protocol, Cacao for the mobile version of the iOS Android wallet?
Oh, good question. So actually, since the last release, I think was it yesterday or the day before, we added the Cacao or Maya protocol section in on iOS. So on iOS, it's already available. You can, bond and LP, and no, LP will come with the next release, but add to the Cacao pool on iOS already. And yeah, on Android it will take until the next release or the release after, because we're like iOS is always, I would say, the fastest when it comes to features, and Android and Windows and extension are always trying to play the catch-up game a bit. But yeah, essentially you can already edit on the DeFi tab on iOS, and Android and extension and Windows will come respectively in the next 1-2 weeks.
Excellent. Thank you. Again, I'll put out to the audience if you guys want to come up. If you have any questions or just a comment for Pal, it'd be great. You guys are welcome. If you have requested, I apologize. I'm not seeing anyone. So just how it goes with spaces. Pal, is there anything you want to talk about that we haven't? Something you want to bring up?
Let me think. I mean, there's always a lot to talk about, but I think currently, yeah, like I'm personally, just super down in building mode and just trying to improve the apps in general, make it more stable. Like, I don't know, maybe a few users recently have seen it. We had a few issues with our RPC providers, and currently just improving the general infrastructure there, that we have just flawless yeah, broadcasting and all of that in the future. And of course, that's one thing I really love about Vultisig, is it's a wallet where I personally try to take as much input as possible from all the users, and just try to improve it together with the whole community. And so yeah, that's why I really love building Vultisig in public. And before joining Vultisig, to be honest, I was always thinking, it's probably quite stressful to build in public, but I really like it because you get direct feedback. The feedback loop is there from the community, and it really helps to create I would say, an honest and great product. And yeah, because you always have the constant feedback loop without any interruptions. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's me too. That's how I have to force myself to look at it. Our egos don't like criticism or people, jumping down your throat. But if you take that out of it, you think, well, this is actually instant feedback. This is like, it's good to find this out now rather than 3 months from now, right? And
Yeah. I don't know if you know the book Ego is Your Enemy, but that's really one book I enjoyed reading, and what helped me, being, like, I would say, the best person possible, or just constantly improve. And the ego, essentially, right, is the only thing in us humans who really yeah, creates barriers and friction points. And of course, like, I let's say a healthy level of ego is important, I would say. But if you go over a certain threshold, then yeah, it just gets friction and introduces issues and problems, I would say. So building in public really helps to reflect on that. And yeah, that also, like, on a personal level, really helped me the last 1.5 years with Vultisig, to just yeah, grow as a person and grow as a project. And I think that's also why I personally think THORChain is so getting better every day. Of course, like, maybe don't have, like, at the moment, the best executions as, like, other competitors who have different approaches, but that is possible to improve, and the devs are currently improving with the feedback loop of building in public.
Absolutely. What was the book called again?
The ego is your enemy.
Okay. I totally agree with everything you said, especially a little bit of ego is good. Like I totally agree with that, because I think it's what helps propel us forward, right? Because if we just
Yeah.
constantly stayed in this state of um I am what I am, like I would never change. You would never change, right? We kind of have to believe we can be something different and something else, and it helps guide us in that direction to eventually become it, right? Um, but it's finding that balance between too much and too little. So yeah, really well said, man. I really agree. And that was one of the things, like, actually, that got me into THORChain. I mean, really, like actually, like, I mean, following the Discord a few years ago was like, it was super interesting, because it felt like just everyone talking first principles with each other, like actually just going over each other's arguments, instead of, like, there was no ad hominem, no one was really attacking each other. It was everyone trying to grind down to the truth, basically, what makes the most sense. And it was super it's very stimulating to see a group of people, especially strangers on the internet, all coming together and talking, like trying to solve this problem, with, like, like, without name calling, with trying to remove their feelings out of it and stuff like that. Like, it's pretty cool. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, that was also really what, like, got me interested in THORChain back in the days, was just seeing the discussions on the dev Discord, and being on the other Discords, and just having that open discussion. And I think that's also why the whole THORChain community is so, I would say, if you compare it to other Web3 communities, mature, and really, always tries to find a solution, instead of, just name calling or whatever. And of course, like, everyone in, like, we were all humans, and nobody is perfect. But the good thing is, right, we're, like, always trying to strive for the best, and in, like, with a good ethos in mind, right? So that's where I think the THORChain community is really good at finding solutions and improving on it. And maybe if it's not like the fastest, because of course there's always a lot of input, and sometimes there's a lot of noise. But with that, I think, without the muted discussions, that's, like, where really we can find always the best solution, and the best, yeah, the best way forward, right?
Yep, totally. Anybody else, audience? You guys want to come up? You have a comment, question? Aftermath, you raise your hand. You want to add something?
Hey, Killer. Yeah, I was going to say, if you want me to mess with the invites and stuff, make me a co-host and I'll speak less. But I just wanted to throw out there, it seems high time uh, to not undervalue this feedback loop. And perhaps we could level it up via and marry it with educational outreach and partner integrated user outreach and polling, and solicit the input and make people believe that they can realize the reality that this damn elite developer team doing DeFi actually cares and is actually decentralized. I think that's what we should lead with. That should be the tip of the spear. Just a thought.
Yeah, for sure. I brought up bio. Are you there, buddy? Does your speaker work?
Hey guys, I'm there. Thank you so much for letting me come up. But I think I'm about to pass through a zone where I'm going to lose my connection. So if I could jump in 2 minutes, will be perfect.
Okay. Well, pal, yeah. Anything else, man? Should we start wrapping this up? Or you got some more?
Not really. I also like in a few minutes need to jump. So yeah, if I don't know if there's not many more questions, then yeah, I'm also happy to have a wrap up soonish. So yeah.
Bio, you got your hand raised. Did you want to go before we end it?
Yeah, can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
we can hear you.
Thanks. Just want to give a shout out to all the Vultisig squad and the THORChain. And I wanted to leave a question that has been something that is coming close to me from friends and from other close friends that I'm helping to use Vultisig, which is, do you think that connecting too much the Vultisig brand with THORChain will lead for people to confuse Vultisig with Tor wallets and all of the different differentiated brands that come from THORChain?
I think given that we have quite a different name and different branding in general, I don't see the big issue with commingling specifically THORChain and the whole THORChain ecosystem. And yeah, we normally try to be a bit more neutral, but of course, like by heart, we're big THORChats. But generally, just to reach out to more users and all of that, we try to be a bit more neutral. And I think with the whole branding and all of that, I think we're not too associated with THORChain itself. But if you start looking a bit when it comes to the routing quotes and like the technology we're using and all of that, we're like quite close to THORChain. But like on a branding level, I think we shouldn't be that close. But yeah, happy to get more input if you got like any anything from like your people, your friends.
For what it's worth, pal, I've had lots of people reach out to me about branding and different platforms and stuff, and Vultisig has never come up. So no one's ever mentioned it to me that isn't.
Yeah, I mean, just because I think mainly because most of the naming is quite similar with Thor on quite few projects, so I can understand the confusions there. But I guess yeah, with multisig it should be quite clear, I guess.
Bio, are you done? Did you have anything else you want to add? Because you're our last speaker. We're going to start wrapping it up here, so I'll let you finish. Looks like
Looks
no.
good. Looks
Yeah.
satisfied.
Okay, he went back to listener. Maybe we lost him. All right, pal. Well, thanks for your time, man. Appreciate it. This is great. Hopefully we do this again in a few months. Right? You'll have another update for us. Um,
Yeah, always appreciate coming on the spaces and giving an update and just chatting with you guys about THORChain and all of that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
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 happy
always
to be
welcome.
here.
And if there's something going on with Multisig, you specifically want to like try and get the message out, like reach out to us too. We're always uh we're looking for content, right? We're looking for people to come on the do the spaces with us. So and same guys to you listening, if you want, there's any project out there that you think would be good for us to talk to, interview, especially new ones, new communities. You think that we might be aligned and there's something we can do to work together. uh, yeah, let us know or help us set it up. Uh, Next week, we've got Thor Wallet coming on. So nice to hear from them. I reached out to them about the branding stuff. I was just like, this doesn't have to be confrontational, guys. Let's just talk, right? And so I did. I chatted with Crypto XZ. We had a good chat for like an hour, and he's got a pretty good take on it, pretty interesting take on the branding. So we can talk about that, hear from him, and more stuff going on with Thor Wallet. And then that's it. I don't have anything planned after that. So kind of need some help, guys, coming up with some more guests. We TC Intern has reached out to a bunch of the different platforms of integrated THORChain to see if they want to talk. So hopefully we hear back from them or we come up with some more ideas. But thank you guys. Thanks for listening. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye.